and I was pronounced dead 4 times. Once I didn't breathe and I had no vitals for 5 minutes. When I had the out-of-body experience and could see the people working around me, I tried desperately to move an eyelid, a finger, something to let them know that I could hear them saying, well, I think we've lost her. And I was saying to myself, no, you haven't. I'm here. But I was like out. And then I went into this, I sort of floated into this tunnel. And there were other figures that I recognized, and this welcoming, like sun, white sun, and warmth, and like being in liquid mercury. It was like being weightless. And Mike Todd was there, and I wanted to be with him more than anything in the world. He'd been dead about 3 years, and I was still mourning him. And he said, no, baby, you can't. It's not your time. You can't come over. You have to fight to go back. You have to fight to go back. And I said, but I want to be with you. And he said, you can't now. I'll be here. You have to fight to go back. And evidently, while this was happening, my hands were like in fists. And they tried to unclench my hands. I was reported dead. It was on the bulletin board. I even read my own obituaries. It was in all the papers that I had died. When I came out of it, when I came out of the, whatever it was, I mean, I wasn't breathing, there were about 11 doctors in the room, and I told them all what I'd experienced, because I felt like I had to tell somebody so I wouldn't later on think I was crazy. And then I thought, that does sound so crazy, I don't think I'm going to tell anybody else. And for years, I didn't say anything. And then I started reading about other people having the same kind of experience. They all vary slightly. Then I thought, there's got to be something to it. There are just too many people who've gone through it. I know I did. Just because I haven't talked about it doesn't mean that it wasn't as real as the day it happened.
I had that whole white light thing. After the MRI, I was unconscious in the tube, and then when I came out of it and they talked to me, and then I kind of had that thing where it's sort of like passing out, except you pass kind of up. It's just a lot of white light, and you see people that have passed on, and they talk to you, and then you pop right back into your body, and you're awake, and I had an incredible sense of well-being, in a sense that it's just so near. It's not a far away or scary thing.
What happened with me is I had anaphylactic shock, so my whole body just shut down. And before it happened, I realized something had happened, and my throat closed up, and I could feel my heartbeat was going way too fast, and then suddenly it was silent. And when it was silent, I just saw this white light. And I was completely peaceful, no stress, no pain, no noise, nothing, just this white light. And then I kind of looked down, I remember, and I could see me lying on this bed, half naked, with this guy screaming and yelling in Spanish for emergency and putting huge syringes in my butt. And I'm looking, thinking, that's me. And it was so weird, but it didn't freak me out. But then I looked again at the white light, and I just said, whoever, whatever, I want to get back in that body. I have things I need to do. And the funny thing is that all I cared about was raising my children and making a difference. I felt I hadn't lived enough yet. And so once they gave me the antidote, and of course I was then alive again, they shocked me back into life. I remember that there's only 2 things I would have taken with me, or left behind, any way you like to look at it, and that is the love I'd shared in my life, whether it had been for a moment or a lifetime, and the difference I'd made. So it made life very simple. I came back and I was impatient to live life and absolutely wanted to avoid any nonsense, manipulation, phoniness, any of that. I just didn't have time for it anymore.
Mm-hmm. With a ski pole through my heart, two doctors, when they got me down to Bishop, pronounced me dead, and I was out of body. And I was in that spirit body here, you know. They tell us we have two bodies. Well, we really do. And that spirit body's got this one beat all to heck. You're more alive, more alert, more aware. You suddenly know things you never knew before. And that spirit body, there's no aches and pains. I mean, very comfortable. But I realized that I wouldn't, you know, particularly all that concerned about going back. And then I thought, but, you know, there's something that I came to Earth to do, and I haven't done it. I got to go back, take another crack at it. And don't ask me what that was, because I don't know. Maybe it's the things I'm doing now. I don't know. But I said, God, I need your help. I want to go back and take another crack at it. And so a third heart specialist came through and saw my buddy on the gurney. He was just waiting for the meat wagon. And he said, I don't know what it was, Clint, but I didn't feel you were dead. And you know, I think that was God answering my request. And I couldn't open my eyes and see him. I could hear him like he was a long distance away. He came to visit a friend at the hospital, was taking a shortcut to get to his car through the basement, and saw me and asked, you know, about me. And they told him who I was and what had happened. And the two doctors pronounced me dead. And he went over and looked at me. He said, I don't think this man is dead. And he took his coat off and he asked for some tools, started cutting my chest open to check on the heart. And I couldn't open my eyes, but I did say to him, do you really have to do that? There was a pause, and then I heard him say, yes, we do, and they rushed me up to the operating room. And when I woke up about 3:30 the next morning, all through full of tubes and everything, I knew that God had granted my request. And he told me afterwards, he said, Clint, you're a medical mystery. And that's how I'm written up. And then, you know, I've got the papers at home where they said, you know, I'm trying to think of the wording. I contradicted a lot of the things that they'd been taught by. They said, even if you had been alive, you should have been a mental vegetable because you were without oxygen for a long period of time.